Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I watched Night of Champions 2010 on the WWE Network. Popping out the review tonight. This is going to close out Night of Champions, the first, I think, pay-per-view that I've got reviews for every single show that they've done under that name up on the channel. You can check out the playlist that this is going to be put in down below if you wanted to check out any other ones. This was a good show. 2010 was a good year. I think that if I really think about it, I can pick apart 2010. There's one feud on this show that I didn't like at all. Basically, I thought that Monday Night Raw in 2010 was me coming into my own as a wrestling fan once again. I've talked a lot about my trip to WrestleMania 27, having that, and then also the whole Nexus storyline, I think, is what really got me into professional wrestling. I used to watch Monday Night Raw a lot in, probably like 2005 to 2009. And I would watch Raw, I would watch SmackDown sporadically here and there, but it was really going to WrestleMania 26 and that experience that really got me into really loving watching Monday Night Raw again. I sort of was watching Raw because I had always watched it in the past. It's Monday, let's watch Raw, and we'll go from there and see what else happens in the night. Basically, the Nexus storyline, which is involved with this show, with Wade Barrett being involved in the main event, cashing in his winnings from winning NXT Season 1. That was an awesome storyline. Them taking out John Cena. I think everybody was at a point where they had had enough of John Cena, and just actually seeing him get the shit kicked out of him on Monday Night Raw. Something that we had been asking for so long. And, we'd seen him beat Edge. We've seen him beat Orton. We've seen him beat, just about anybody on the roster. We needed something fresh. We needed something new. And here comes, the Nexus was probably 7 guys strong at this point, and they just run, they tear the ring up, they destroy ringside, they destroy Cena. That was awesome. I mean, that was really, really cool. This was my first trip to SummerSlam, was the month before, so I remember a lot of this stuff that was going down at this time. I was really, really into it. First match of the night was Dolph Ziggler going up against Kofi Kingston. I know a lot of these matches that I've been talking about with Dolph Ziggler being in the leadoff spot have always been really, really good, great matches. Dolph came down to the ring. Of course, he was escorted down by Vicky Guerrero, his manager and lover at the time, and then Caitlyn was there as well. I had to do some research because honestly I didn't know what the fuck Caitlyn was doing there, let alone I didn't even think it made sense in time to why Caitlyn would be there. But this was around the time of NXT Season 2. Caitlyn was on the show. Vicky Guerrero was her, what did they call them? Coaches? Pros? It was pros. Yeah, there we go. Vicky Guerrero was her pro. Shows you how weak NXT Season 2 and therefore was on as giving guys pros. The stipulation for this match, that if Ziggler was counted out or disqualified, Kofi Kingston would have been awarded the championship. They did a lot of cool spots. They did a lot of cool moves. I don't know if I had to get in the mood to watch wrestling at this point. I didn't think it was the best match I'd ever seen. I didn't think it was the worst match I'd ever seen. It just was sort of on, and it was getting down to it. In the next match, in the match, Dolph Ziggler won, by the way. And the next match of the night was Big Show versus CM Punk. This is the biggest match on the show that it gave me the biggest question mark to what the hell was going on. At SummerSlam, we saw the Straight Edge Society, CM Punk, Luke Gallows, and Joey Mercury go a 3-on-1 in a handicap match against Big Show. It was Big Show won. I don't understand. This is sort of like going backwards in the timeline. Why Big Show would go 1-on-1 with CM Punk if he was able to beat CM Punk and 2 other dudes. Why would you give CM Punk a shot in hell? To beat Big Show 1-on-1. It didn't really make sense. Short match. Big Show got the win. Awesome promo from CM Punk. This show was held in Chicago at the Allstate Arena. Basically, he turned all of the cheaters into boos with about a 3-4 minute promo. Straight Edge Society, CM Punk was at the top of his game. I know that he would move forward and grow more and more. This is a part of the time when CM Punk was almost went a year without a victory on pay-per-view before getting the a win over Rey Mysterio and then being the #1 contender to go towards John Cena at the Money in the Bank 2011 pay-per-view. This guy knew what he was doing in 2010, even though he wasn't winning matches. He was delivering promos that were just, beyond great. Next match was probably the biggest feud that I loved the most. This was coming off of season 1 of NXT, where basically Daniel Bryan went through the show. Everybody thought that he was a big-time favorite. NXT really didn't really script the promos. The guys were really free to do whatever they needed to do. It wasn't like WWE didn't care about it, but it was almost like a training ground of, what are you going to do if we send you out there and we need you to do a 2-minute promo? Well, what are you going to do? I mean, they were able to see really what these guys were able to do without a net on live television. And it was fun. I loved NXT Season 1. And from there, it progressed a little bit. But if NXT Season 1 came on the WWE Network, I honestly would watch that show in progression from episode 1 to however many episodes there were. And I think I would love watching it again. Daniel Bryan had great matches. Wade Barrett had great matches. Chris Jericho was involved. I loved NXT Season 1. Good stuff. But basically, once the Nexus debut happened, of course, everybody knows about Daniel Bryan grabbing the tie. He was fired. They brought him back at SummerSlam. After bringing him back at SummerSlam, he went up against his pro, who he did not get along with at the show. The whole time, basically, he felt that he was the guy from the Independents, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Why he would be being trained by The Miz did not make any sense at all. A guy that had less wrestling, sort of experience than he did. He'd been wrestling longer than The Miz had. Just The Miz had caught a break and he had made it to WWE faster one way or another. But basically, The Miz had joined up with Alex Riley, who was the winner of NXT Season 2 at this point, and they were sort of like the new sort of gangbusters. Alex Riley at this point was wearing the varsity jacket, and he was slowly transforming him into Miz 2.0. In this match, Daniel Bryan beats The Miz, sort of putting the stamp on this. He's really going to be a WWE guy. It took a long time to get from 2010 Daniel Bryan, getting him all the way to WrestleMania 30. There was definitely a lot of steps in him growing. But this was definitely him, getting his shot at becoming a main player. Not main player, but, a mid-card player. A guy who has the United States Championship. A guy that, is moving from here. This is also a fun time in Miz's career. 2 months from now, he'd be cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase against Randy Orton. He'd be becoming the WWE Champion, going on to WrestleMania 27 in the main event and beating John Cena. This was an awesome match. Honestly, when it comes down to it, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz was the match of the night at Night of Champions 2010. This was a good one that you make sure you go check out. And I wouldn't be surprised if they add this to the video vault somewhere along the way, where you can just watch this match by itself. Because it definitely is a match that you would highlight it as the best match that goes on from here. Michelle McCool beats Melina in a Lumberjill match. Nothing really big there. Kane beats Undertaker in a no-holds-barred World Heavyweight Championship match. One of the most boring matches on the show. Basically, everybody knows the stupid storyline that goes along with this. Basically, Kane finds Undertaker beat up to hell in the back of the place. Kane runs, all over SmackDown, basically telling everybody that they beat up the Undertaker. They're the reason why Taker's not on the show anymore. And then when it comes down to it at SummerSlam, it's not Rey Mysterio who beat up Undertaker. It was Kane himself. Kane had cashed in the Money in the Bank, so he was the World Heavyweight Champion at the time. Undertaker comes back, has one more run with Kane. Very, very boring run, that is. Kane made a good World Heavyweight Champion, but the whole series of matches against the Undertaker were piss poor horrible. Not one of them were good. The Hell in the Cell that would happen the next month is more than likely one of the worst Hell in the Cells WWE's ever done. Very bad. Nothing memorable here. Just move along. There was a tag team turmoil match involving the Hart Dynasty, the Usos, Santino and Vladimir, Evan Bourne and Mark Henry, and then Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre becoming a tag team. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes were able to pull out the win. Honestly, the guys that I thought looked the best were only in the ring for a couple of minutes. They were in the opening of this match. The Hart Dynasty looked really good against the Usos. The Usos, were a team that really grew up a lot, as they found out. They weren't as good as they are today in 2010. They took a lot of seasoning to get them to where they are, but the Hart Dynasty, David Hart Smith and Tyson Kidd, looked phenomenal in this match, eliminated very, very fast by the Usos. They were involved in a feud at the time. And then, of course, we have Wade Barrett, who had cashed in his NXT winnings to get a championship time at any time. He had challenged Sheamus to go one-on-one. The heel/babyface Raw Anonymous GM at the time had said that basically it wasn't going to be a one-on-one match that Wade Barrett got his championship shot at. It was going to be a six-pack elimination championship match. It was Randy Orton, Sheamus, Wade Barrett, John Cena, Edge, and Chris Jericho. They had a very good sequence of events in this match where it led to Edge taking the FU from John Cena, where it just looked like everybody that was inside of the ring at the time was going to hit their finisher. Edge looked like he was going for the spear, which was reversed into the FU. Right after that, Nexus came running down. They attacked John Cena, which led to Wade Barrett hitting his finisher on Cena getting the pin, leaving it was Randy Orton, Sheamus, and it was Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett. Randy Orton was able to hit the RKOs. It's hard to think of him being a babyface in 2010. I thought it was weird that I was saying that there was three heels in there that were wrestling to find the end of this. Orton got the win. Orton escaped with the championship, and they move on down the road. Very good show to go and check out. The only thing that was really a bummer from this was that Kane versus Undertaker match, but maybe you'll get down with that. I know that upcoming WWE has the Brothers of Destruction. I haven't checked out the match listings on that. I know that it's going to be a cheaper DVD that I believe is going to be like a single disc, much like those Superstar series that came out. It's not going to be every Kane versus Undertaker match. They're just going to highlight some out of the middle. It's not. I was hoping for something like the Greatest Rivalries, Brett versus Shawn. I know that you can't really do a sit-down interview with Kane and Taker, but at least have every match that they ever really did. Maybe involve some of the cool tag team matches that they did. But WWE DVD had a different sort of plan along the way. So we'll have to see. Check it out. I know that WWE DVD News, Wrestling DVD News, has a write-up on the Brothers of Destruction. I'm sorry, Wrestling. Okay, let's start the whole thing all over again. Wrestling DVD News has a write-up on the Brothers of Destruction DVD that is coming out. I know that Gemini888 has done a video talking about it. I can't remember what's on it. I know that he didn't say that it was going to be a really great DVD. It was going to be a pretty well stripped down DVD, like I was saying, and take it from there. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.